and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Well, I'm going to Greece in about a week and a half, maybe a little bit longer because we're going to London first. My wife is from London. Well, kind of. She grew up on the Isle of Wight, but she spent a lot of time in London. All her friends live in London. We're going to visit them first, and then we're off to Crete, which is the farthest island south, just above Egypt. Get the idea. So we're going to be there. We're going to be tasting a lot of their wines there, and I'm looking forward to that. So I thought it'd be really cool to do just kind of a prep, couple of episodes of Greek wines. Because I'll be doing some TikToking there. If you use TikTok at all, hopefully you do. It's Stan the Wine Man on TikTok. And then, of course, I'd move it over to Instagram, which most of the people here on the island, San Juan Island, use Instagram and Facebook. Can't connect it to Facebook. That's beside the point. I'll be doing some posting as well. So we're going to look at some Greek wines. This is really, really cool. So we're going to get right into it. We're actually going to visit this winery, Lyrakis. Oh, before we get started, these are like, the grapes in Greece are crazy. Things I've never heard of. I had to write them down because, guess what? I can't remember all of them. So here's just a few of the grapes that are in Italy, or Greece, sorry. Mascofalero, Katsafali, which is one of the ones we're drinking, Ariti, Mandalaria, Lemniana, Limnio, Liatico, Mavrodaphne, Mavrotregano, try to spit those out, Nagoski, Vertzami, Xenomavro. Those are just the names of the grapes in Greece. Now, Greece has got some of the oldest wine culture in the world. Makes sense, right? Dionysus is the Greek god of wine. In Rome, they call him Bacchus. But Dionysus, Greek goddess of wine. Wine is a huge part of their culture. In fact, a lot of their culture was developed around wine and winemaking. So let's get into this right away. This is the Lyrakis Red. It's a blend of Katsafali and Syrah, 2018, and this rolls in at $15. So, give the glass a little bit of rinse. Katsafali is a very, doesn't have much color. And they do quite a bit of it in Crete. Katsafali. In fact, it's predominantly produced in Crete, south of Heracula. Named after Hercules, of course. So in this particular instance, they blend it with Syrah to give it some depth and color. So it'll be very interesting to try this. 13.5% alcohol. Lyrakis. We're going there to Lyrakis Winery. I'm excited about that. So very dark in color. Yeah, really dark. So, the Syrah, of course, adds the darkness to that. Whereas Katsafali is not so much. There's not that much color in the pips and the skins. There you go. Darker, almost like a cloudy darkness to it. Let's see what we get on the nose. Kind of get a little licorice coming through. Boysenberry, there's just a little bit of a kind of a poopy element coming through. Remember that Greece is old world wine, so you might get some of that funk. Boysenberry, a little bit of plum coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Got the Seahawks bucket, 3-0 Seahawks. I haven't pulled that out for a while. I gave up on that. Now, very interesting wine. There we go. Chocolate notes coming through. A little bit of spice on the back end, which I really think is very cool. Plum, boysenberry notes. Good balance. Good acidity. Has some minerality to it. Definitely a little bit of kind of crushed rock, wet stone thing going on the finish. Good balance, like I said. Nice acidity, very fresh. I like the chocolate tones. They're not prominent. We're not talking like chocolate like you might get from California, but there are some chocolate tones there. Almost kind of a bittersweet chocolate, I would say, with the licorice, plum, boysenberry. Yeah. And that kind of interesting kind of poopiness comes through on the backside. Not in a bad way. You'll see when you try it. Not super complex, but nice balance, fresh, good flavors, a little tobacco coming through as well. And you guys know I kind of get crazy about tobacco. I love that in wine. This is a good wine, good food wine. This would go good with pork, I think. Pork would be good. You could have this with salmon, just saying, because it is a little bit on the lighter side, so it could work with salmon. Definitely would work with pork. I would have this with ham, possibly. I like the spiciness on the finish. I'm going to go C plus B minus. Not super complex, but good, well-made wine. Lyricus. Going there, I'm excited about that. It's that funkiness is right on the finish, which is kind of cool if you like that sort of thing. I use the word poopy, but yeah, sort of a kind of just a funkiness, you know, almost borderline. A lot of us like to say barnyard sort of effect on it, but not in a negative tone. I know you guys are going, Stan, are you nuts? Barnyard, not negative? I wish I could taste this with you and we could talk about it. That'd be really cool, but I'm just saying, that's what's there. Let's move on. So this is Kiros, and you say this Arioyitico. It doesn't even look like that. Arioyitico from Nemea, which is on the big island of Greece. Greece, the big part of the continental Greece, or whatever you want to say, the big island of Greece. And this Nemea is not too far from Corinth, and it has about 40 wineries. It's a village there, and this Arioyitico is one of the most prominent grapes planted in Greece. Its importance is right up there with Zinno Mavro are the two most planted grapes in Greece. Zinno Mavro and Arioyitico. And it's really tough. I'll show you the label. The way it's spelled is Agrogitiko. Arioyitico. Arioyitico is how they say it. I guess, like Nemea it's a small village in Greece, and $13. And this is 2020. Visionary year. $13, good price point. This is like in the red zone, dark red, maybe just a hair purple. You can almost see through it. Yeah. Let's see what we get on the nose. Kiros. Again, you get almost a milk chocolate. Currants, definitely currants. A little bit of plum action as well. Yes, that's where we're going with that one. Let's see what we get on the palate. I like this one. Kind of a good depth to it. The milk chocolate tones are there, but it's kind of the underbelly of, I get tobacco. I actually get some boysenberry notes of plum, currant notes, hedging toward the red currant side, fresh acidity, good balance on this baby. I mean, $13 is a great price for this wine. Arioyitico. Nice finish, gets into the red fruit on the finish. You know, Arioitico could be considered one of the flagship reds of Greece. And it's right, like I said, it's right up there with Xenomavro, I think, which means the acid black. Or is that Mavro Daphne? I can't remember. It's one of Greece's oldest varietals. It's been around a long, long time. So there you go. It's nice to taste not only the wine, but the history. That's so cool. Always get that question. I like the tobacco on the finish. Really love that. Kind of really good depth, really. For $13, I think this one really delivers a solid wine. Long finish, by the way. A little bit of minerality on the end. Yeah, I like it quite a bit. Now, a lot of people ask me, and this is always a tough question for me, what is this wine like? They want to know what they can compare it to. This one's a tough one. I would go Tempranillo, is where I would go with this one. It reminds me a little bit of a Tempranillo. You know, Tempranillo Rioja, or Rioja, as my wife would say. Rioja. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Kind of a Tempranillo style of this wine. Yes. So I'm going to go B minus B on that. I think it's a great wine for $13. It's well above average. B minus B. Good wine. Let's move on. This is from the Gaia Monograph Arioitico. Whew, that's one hard. This is also $13, so it'd be nice to... this says Peloponnese on it, which is kind of southwest of Nemea. This was in at $13. Gaia is a huge producer in Greece. I like that price point, $13. And of course I'll be expanding my Greek. I have actually a pretty good Greek wine selection, really, compared to maybe a lot of, because basically our wine department is in the grocery store, and the owner likes to say we're a wine store that sells groceries, because it's a big part of the store. This has a Stelvin or screw cap on it. A lot of people like that, especially tourists who don't want to have don't have a corkscrew because they got it taken at the airport, right? Again, a little lighter on the reddish side. You can almost see through this. This reminds me of a Pinot in color, a little darker than a Pinot Noir. Let's see what we get on those. Totally different nose, and this is one of the things I read up about Arioitico is the difference in styles. There's so many different styles of Arioitico. So this definitely goes into the red berry zone and blackberry. There's just a hint of licorice on this one. A little bit of tobacco as well, but not strong tobacco, just light. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is fun. This one expands on the mid-palate. Interesting, on the palate, you do get that kind of red berry, blackberry, almost black plum thing, and then it finishes with the red berry notes on the back end. It's fresh, has good minerality. I get a little crushed rock, kind of wet stone thing on the finish. Very light on the body, for sure. But again, I'm thinking, if you're looking for something to compare Arioitico to, I would say Tempranillo. Absolutely. No dill pickle though, because a lot of in the Spain and especially in Rioja, they like to use American oak, which adds that kind of dill, fennel, anise thing to the dill and fennel thing to the wine. very dry, good acidity, but very balanced, nicely integrated. It finishes dry and very mineral driven. I'm thinking no oak really, but I don't know. I didn't really look up that particular thing, but it very fresh, very elegant. Again, pork, salmon be my choices on this one. Ham would be a good choice. Maybe even lamb. Maybe even lamb would work with this. Don't season the lamb too much. Yeah, great wine, $13. I'm going to go C plus B minus on this one as well. I like the Kyrios a little better than this one. They're the same price, but they're both really good. Just nice, easy to drink red wines that deliver some nice old world action, but have enough kind of fruit maybe to appease the new world palate. I always like to find those kind of gateway wines into another region. So I think both these, all three of these, would be good for somebody that wants to dive into Greek wines. Remember, Greece kind of got known for Retsina, the white wine that is fermented with pine resin, and really Greece does so much more than that. And our your yeet to go is one of those. Just from my experience, more people like the Kyrios than this one, but I like them both. I like all three of them actually. They're all very good, very solid wines. There you have it. Next episode should be on white Greek wines, which I'm very excited to do as well. I have one in there that's kind of expensive, so it'll be fun to try those. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, learn a little bit about Greece and Greek wines, and hopefully you try to experiment a little, reach out and try some of these wines. I know it's real easy to get stuck in a rut. Cab, Merlot, Cab Franc, Pinot Noir, all of those are there, I know that, but you know, I always encourage everybody, just expand your palate horizons, and all three of these are very reasonably priced. So again, give them a try, see what you think. How many of you have tried Greek wines, and do you have a favorite that you enjoy most of all? Put those in the comments. I'd like to hear your choices and perhaps give me some ideas of what to bring into the store. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see what's coming up. I'd appreciate that very much. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.